welcome back. This is our second week of chair yoga from home, our second installment, and I'm going to show you guys some different things that we'll do this week. Some of the things will challenge us a little bit, but just do what you can. It'll be a slightly more challenging option from the other class, but only slightly. So again, if you have a strap or something that works like a karate belt or a tie, feel free to grab that, and if you don't have a block, it's okay. We're only going to use it once at the very end, and if you have a rolled up towel, that'll work too. So go ahead and feel free to pause the video, make sure you have everything you need, and make sure you have a chair without arms because you want to be able to move freely on the chair, but anything will work. So once you are ready with your props, we'll jump right in. So the first thing is you just want to make sure that the chair is on your yoga mat so that you're not going to be sliding around at all. If you're shorter like me, you want to kind of come forward and make sure that your feet are firmly and really flat on the mat and that your knees are right over your ankles. So we're just going to start with some really easy breathing. Let the palms face up, close your eyes, feel your chest lift, feel your belly pit pull in slightly and your head draw back, your crown right over your tail. And when you're ready, inhale slowly through the nose, feel your belly fill your chest, fill your throat. Good. On your exhale through the nose also, the throat empties, chest falls, belly draws into the spine. And let's just do 3 more of those really full, slow breaths. Inhale from the bottom all the way up. And then exhale from the top all the way down. Good. Inhale slowly. And exhale really slow, letting out any stress in your body, feeling your muscles and your limbs really soften as if they're dropping into warm sand. Feel the muscles in the face soften as you continue to breathe, your jaws relax, your muscles around your eyes are so soft that your sinuses feel more open and your face muscles feel soft. Take another slow inhale. And exhale, and we're going to let go of a little stress from all this, right? A little stress release. So let's take a sigh through the mouth. When you're ready, inhale. Flush it out. One more time. Inhale. Good. Now we're ready to really begin. So on the next inhale, draw your chin to chest. And on your exhale, sweep your right ear to your right shoulder. Feel the side stretch through the neck. Inhale. Right into the stretch. And as you exhale, chin back to chest, left ear to left shoulder. So we're going to start with our warm-ups. This is just a great way to fine-tune the body, tune the body up, right? Inhale. Exhale, chin to chest, right ear to the right shoulder. So there's a little crossover from last week, but we'll throw in some fun stuff to make it a little different. Good. Keep going. As you sweep, feel all the muscles loosening. Feel the neck opening. You pause when you arrive into the stretch. You flood the muscle groups with prana, with oxygen. And then as you exhale, you sweep all the way to the other side. Do this once or twice more. Make the neck feel really good and open. Because the next thing we do is going to be to strengthen the neck muscles. Good. Come back to center. So the thing about the neck and the wrists and the ankles is that we have so much mobility in these joints, but we don't have a lot of muscles mass to kind of protect and support that flexibility. So it's really important to kind of create some strength there. So when you're ready, you're going to place your hands behind your head, kind of like a wall. And as you chin to chest slightly, make sure your shoulders are relaxed and broad. Your elbows are kind of wide. And then press the feet into the ground. Feel the quads engage. And then press the head against that fake wall behind you into the hands. Feel the hands resist. This is good for traction. Take a deep breath in, flood oxygen, flood prana into the length of the neck, of the cervical spine. And as you exhale, feel the breath flow out. Good. Inhale, flood a lot of prana right in, as if your neck is an open column, an open straw. And you're just sending all this nice chi right down and up the neck, creating a lot of space between each vertebrae and disc. Good. One more time. Inhale. Keep pressing. Nice and strong and firm. Exhale. Release. Excellent. Awesome. And then when you're ready, you're slightly forward, right? Hands are on the lap. Let's do a few cat-cow stretches for the whole spine. So now the whole spine, not just cervical, is going to get benefit. We're arching as we look forward slightly. And then we're exhale, kind of rounding with the chin to chest. Try not to shrug your shoulders up towards your ears as you inhale. Arch or round. You just want the spine to be the active element here, not the shoulders into the ears too much. Good. Let's just do a few more. Really inhale, arching. So you're creating space between each vertebrae, between the discs. Exhale, rounding. And you're creating a lot of nice suppleness and blood flow through the whole spine. Good. Of course, if anybody has any bulging disc issues or anything at all, always feel free to skip a pose or to kind of maybe not go through so deep. All right, same thing now, but hold on to the edge of the chair, and as you exhale, come around and back, and inhale, come around and forward. We did this last week. This is not only very good for spine health, but of course very good for digestion and hip health. Let's just do one more in this direction, and when you're ready, exhale. This is such a great tune-up stretch, just to get the spine kind of loose, and the hips loose, ready to start your day, right? Let's just do two more. It should feel good in the body. Always make it feel good. Never pushing, never straining, right? And then come back to center. Hi, Bronco. When you're ready, and we're gonna move forward onto our hand stretches. So the first thing we're gonna do is a little different than last week, is we're gonna make our, why don't you come in front of me, Eli, because I'm gonna mirror them. So instead of saying my right hand, I'm gonna tell them my left hand, and then they're just kind of like looking in a mirror, right? So go ahead and put your left hand out like a stop sign. And instead of bending deep at the wrist though, you wanna make sure that there's no bend here. So it's a stop sign like this. Good. And then when you're ready, you're gonna come with your right hand between your body, and you're gonna grab the pinky side. So in other words, you're not grabbing around front, you're going between the body and the hand. You're grabbing pinky side. Then you're gonna kind of spiral in a clockwise direction towards you. You guys are kind of mirroring me, so it might be different, but you're pulling in towards you. You're going the direction it doesn't want to go. In other words, you're not going that way, because that's too easy. You're just giving a little resistance, a little massage right down that forearm, right down the side of the hand there. This is very good for arthritis. Good. Shake that out. Now this left hand, rather than a stop sign, faces in towards us. And again, there's no bend at the elbow. It's one straight line all the way to elbow from fingertips. You're going to come from the outside this time, and you're going to grab the thumb side. And I'm moving in a counterclockwise direction. You're going to kind of pull out away from you, thumb out away from you slightly. And that's where you're going to find that good resistance. Good. And you're just kind of pulsing and squeezing down the forearm, around the wrist, and through, I think they call it the Mount of Venus here, right below the thumb. Good. Shake that out. And now do the other side. So the right hand is like a stop sign. And you're going to come between the body and the pinky side, pulling in towards you. Nice little stretches. Nice little squeezes up through the pinky side and down the forearm. Good. Same thing. The right hand now faces towards you, coming around thumb side, pulling away from you. Good. Breathe with this. This is so good for joint health there at the wrists. Good. Now that we've massaged them, let's warm them up a little bit. Shake that out, and we'll do our nice little wrist rotations. Breathe with it. Make it feel good for another breath. And switch directions. Inhale. Exhale. And swish it out. Good. So you might be feeling it in your biceps right now, like all from all that work we just did with the hands and the forearms, right? Let's squeeze out some of that lactic acid buildup. So you start at the biceps, and it's just like you're milking out that lactic acid buildup right down through the forearms and through the fingertips. Do it a couple times until it really feels good. It's all about making it feel good and open, like a little massage would. So you can really feel the difference between the arms now, right? So let's do the other side. Make it feel good. And one more time. Excellent. Okay, so for this next one, a curvature in our upper back as we age tends to round, our head tends to pitch forward. So, and that of course obstructs the organs, right? Compresses them. One of the goals of yoga is to regain good posture, and what that means is opening up a nice tall posture in the upper back, shoulders back, right? But instead of the head pitched forward, the head is back. Another thing is we tend to overarch in this curvature in our low back. So we want to draw our belly pit in, and as we do, our tailbone glides down and it creates less of a curvature in the low back. So we want a little more curvature in the upper back and a little less in the low back, just to kind of correct what happens over time as everything becomes compressed. This next one is excellent. So you're just going to reach back. You're forward on your chair, right? There's plenty of room behind you. Your feet are firmly down. And you're holding on to the bottom part of the chair with elbows straight. Now when we tend to reach back, we tend to pitch our head forward. So again, belly pit in, chest lifts up, head draws back, really important. Shoulders squeeze back towards each other, like you're squeezing a lemon. It's kind of wedged between the shoulder blades there. Good. As you inhale, fill the belly, fill the chest. And as you exhale, squeeze. Let's do this for 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Excellent. 2. It's kind of like you're leaning forward, like you're skiing. Right? Last one. Inhale. And as you exhale, release. Hands on the lap. And just give a little cat-cow stretch so that we have some nice mobility and fluidity in the spine. Good. Just once more. Okay, moving on. Let's do the legs a little bit. Can you come back forward? I'll edit this together, so don't worry. So, moving on to the legs, we're still forward, and this might be a little challenging for some of us. Last week we did this laying down on our backs, which is a little bit easier and gentler. All hips are different from one another, so treat them, as I always say, like children, not like twins. You want the ankle on the thigh. If this is not available to you, do not worry about it, okay? If the knee is comfortable, kind of gliding down a little millimeter or 2 more, right, maybe even centimeters, then go ahead and feel the chest lift. If there's room to go further, if you have pretty open hips on this side and you want a deeper stretch, belly leads, then chest, last head. So in other words, you come down with a very flat back. And you're going to feel a definitive point where you really feel that stretch. You feel it under the right thigh and glutes. You feel it all in the hip. Breathe with it, maybe even adding a nice little sweeping motion with the torso to loosen up the tight ligaments and tendons around that tight hip. For 3. Letting out a little stress here. According to a lot of yogis, we keep a lot of emotional tension in our hips. Let's take another nice sigh. Inhale. Ah, so nice, that nice release. And then let's switch. So that might have been your good hip, and maybe now as we move over to this other hip, it's not so good. You listen to your body. Ankle on the thigh, foot stays flexed. Maybe the knee can move forward and down a little more. Belly and chest and chin up. And then coming down until you feel the juicy stretch. Remember that the benefit is always where there is a good juicy stretch but not strain. Where there's a little challenge but not frustration. That's where the growth is. Breathe with that edge, send prana right in for 3. And if you really get a lot of body awareness, you start to notice which side's maybe slightly more open or more range than the other. This for me is my more open side. Good. Last one. Everything from just having a more dominant hand and foot to like the pedal that is being pushed in the car by which foot. as you drive can affect these things, what we tend to favor more or work more. Good, go ahead and release. And we'll do one more thing for feet. And again, if this movement is not good for you, then don't feel like you have to do it. Even if you only do 80% of this class, you're still getting a lot of benefit. So again, we're coming into that same position, but we're taking our hand now and we're just turning the toes around and feeling that nice stretch around the ankles. If that is not available to you, you could always extend the foot forward, circles this way. It's a little bit deeper with the hand moving the foot around. You can even press, fingers gripping the top of the foot, the thumb inside the mounds right below your toe. Good. And the other side. If this movement is available, just turning the foot around, feeling those nice stretches through the ankles. Good. And then maybe even taking the fingers atop top of the hand and turning so the mounds are kind of more facing towards you, and then just punching them down with your thumbs. Excellent. All right, and then scoot back and let's do more feet exercises. So we're just kind of twirling the toes in a nice little mermaid fin movement, heels touching and toes swishing. It's kind of a nice, fun, enjoyable one. And the knees are nice and straight. And again, with the heels clicking, let's just fan everything open and shut a couple times. The next time your feet are open, swish so that all 10 toes kiss. So I want to make sure we have time for our other stuff. So we're just throwing in some of the good warm-up things to keep our bodies nice and tuned up. Good. Okay, so for this next one, again, we're forward. Our feet are hip-width distance apart right under our knees, and we're going to take the palms of our hands and really rub and make good circles around the kneecap to warm them up. The direction is important. It's down, in, up. So go ahead and do that. And then swish it out. 2 more of these, and then we're going to progress to something else for the knees that'll really help strengthen them a little more than this one. Okay, so for this next one, the hands are down on the outsides of the knees. The chest is lifted up, the posture is tall. You're pushing the knees against the hands and the hands against the knees. Might look like I'm not doing much, but I'm working really hard my biceps right now, my quads, and my abductors. Good, take another breath. Keep pressing, keep resisting, and release. Good, take a second, take a breath. And on the inside, press the inner knee into the palms, palms press on the inner knee. Good, feel the biceps really working here, really resisting. Good, and release. Good, shake that out. All right, for this next one, let's scoot all the way back. Now this is a very tall chair, so hopefully your chair is a little lower. And if you're short like me and your heels don't quite touch the ground, you want to tuck your toes back, press the toes and the balls of the feet into the ground, and your quads are activated. If you're taller and you're all the way back and your heels press comfortably down, you don't have to do that. Let's go ahead and take our left hand down to the edge of the chair, and then sweep your right arm up and over. You want to keep your low back from overarching. You don't want to do that. You want to pull the belly pit in, and then reach the fingers and spread them towards the ceiling. Do a nice little pulse here. Feel the whole rib cage and side body open. We're going to do triangle pose later in the video, so make sure to open up that side body. Good, that should feel really good now. Holding on with your right hand, left arm sweeps up. If the rotator cuff is not so good, you don't have to have your hand in the air. You can have the hand in the hip and still do this nice movement that opens up the side body from the hip. So your left hip is pressing down, your belly pit is pulling in, and then the fingers are spread. Take another deep breath in, and exhale, release. Very good. All right, we're sitting back. So the first thing we're going to do is reach your right arm high, grab on the outside thigh of your left leg. So you're coming into a twist. You want with the other hand to reach the back of the chair. Normally a chair is about this tall, mine's a little high, so I'm going to go inside the rung. But hopefully you don't have to do that. You can just grab on the outside like this and your shoulder won't be up towards your ear, right? Okay, so then inhale, feel your crown grow tall, belly pit pull in, look behind you a little further. Use your hand to really press the thigh away. What makes this a juicy twist, if you notice, is that my right and left shoulder are one in front of the other, while my hips are still kind of side by side horizontally. So I'm really rinsing out in this nice twist, the spine. This is good for digestion. Inhale. Exhale, press. Shoulders are away from the ears. Spine is tall. One more. Inhale. Exhale. And then release. Very good. I'm going to come to the other side now. So you're still sitting back. Your toes are still digging down and your quads are still activated. You're going to sweep your left arm high. And you're going to grab the outside of the right thigh. Then you're going to reach back on the top of the chair if you have a shorter chair. Or do what you can if you have a taller chair like I do. Inhale, the crown lifts up tall. Exhale, look behind you if you can with your cervical spine, so your cervical is twisting too. Go where your edge of flexibility is and pause and breathe there. Don't strain. But every inhale, get a little taller. Every exhale, push on the outside of this thigh. Feel that juicy rinse for 3. Very good. 2. Send a lot of prana right up the spine into those internal organs that we're rinsing out. Making healthy. And when you're ready, release. Good. Come back forward halfway. And just do a couple cat-cows just to release that. So we're going to come up to standing next. Feel free to pause the video, take a drink of water, but when you're ready, come on up. And I'm going to make sure that my chair is to the side of me with the tall edge to one of my sides. Doesn't matter which side that is. So first I'm just going to start with some basic stretches and balancing poses, and then we're going to move on to some harder stuff like the warrior series and some triangle pose and the like. First thing we'll do now is feet together. Belly pit pulls in, and again, the outer arm, the side not with the chair near it, lifts up and over. Feel yourself pulse through the hip. Reach through the fingers a little more. Feel that nice side stretch. And then release. So instead of moving my chair to the other side, you can just turn around. And when you're ready, same thing. Feet together, heels press down, belly pit pulls in, right arm reaches up and over. Right? Feel that nice stretch there. And then release. Good. So that opened up our side bodies, getting ready for triangle a little more. All right, for this next one, we're actually going to bring the chair onto our mat. So we're going to take the seat of the chair and face it in towards us. And the chair is towards the front of your mat. And we're going to try a standing balance pose of airplane. But of course, it's going to be a modified airplane. The seat is in towards us. When we begin, we're going to stand a good hip width distance apart, our feet right under our hip bones, and our hands on our hips. Now notice if you tend to push on the outer edges of the hips, of the feet, like we were talking about this last week. And if you do tend to kind of open up and collapse, then you want to press down more on the inner edges of the feet. So you really want to push down the feet evenly, feel the belly pull in, and then go ahead and feel the chest lift up. Take a couple breaths here, shoulders relaxed, eyes set nice and steady, a little higher than eye level. When you feel like you have a really good foundation, take another deep breath in and feel your arms sweep all the way up as we become a nice straight line. The shoulders drop and spread. The chest is lifted, the head is back, the fingers are spread as the heels root down. Take another 2 breaths here. Inhale. Exhale. Good. Last one. Feet root, fingers spread, and then come down with a flat back. Palms find the seat of your chair really firmly and nicely. Shoulders glide over the wrists. Left foot comes in so it is centered. It's just gliding in towards your right foot. Toes spread, nice and solid foundation. And in a second, we're just gonna kick this right leg up. Foot stays flexed, toes are pointed down. This is a little more challenging. This is option 1 though. Option 2 is we come up onto fingertips, barely resting on this chair. Of course, there is further options. You can have your hands on your hips or your arms back in true airplane, palms facing down. It is up to you. Palms down steady is fine. Every inhale, lift that leg a little higher without drawing the hip up out of alignment with the other hip. So the hip stays squared. 2, inhale. Every exhale, root and soften into the pose. Good, one more inhale, a little more energy. And then exhale, release. Before we do the other side, let's walk back a tiny bit. Bend the knees, walk the fingers forward, and take a little bit of a modified down dog. The head dropping between the arms. You don't have to bend the knees if the hamstrings are pretty flexible, and you can keep a flat back here in down dog. But the point of down dog is not to have perfectly straight knees. It's really about the extension in the spine as the hands press that surface away. Right, and the hips glide back. Good. When you're ready for your next one, let's walk back forward, feet hip-width distance apart, finding our foundation. Hands come in so that the wrists are right under the shoulders. Palms are pressing down evenly, and now it's the right foot that comes in. So that will be our anchor as the left leg floats up. Foot stays nice and flexed, toes pointing down, hips are neutral. Every inhale, feel a good lift, maybe going further. Every exhale, feel yourself really rooted. Never sacrifice stability for range, right? Take another deep breath in and out. Good, inhale, and on this exhale, release. Walk it back. Feet hip-width distance, crawl the fingers forward, feel this nice extension in the back, head drops. Take a couple breaths here, make it feel good, maybe even a little gliding of the hips side to side. My head kind of drops. Good. And let's come forward. You're only about good 12 to 18 inches from the chair. Bend into the knees, and as you inhale, burst back up as we started. Feel the palms face towards each other, and as you exhale, feel the shoulders drop into their sockets. Belly pit pulls in, tailbone down, heels down. One more big inhale as the chest lifts and the fingers spread. And as you exhale, hands come down in front of the heart. Let's do one more nice sun salutation. Okay, for this next one, we want to take our socks off. So go ahead and feel free to pause the video and take your socks off, because we're going to do some Warrior One, and we want to make sure that our feet really grip into the mat so that we can be nice and safe. So once you have done that, let's do another nice sun salutation, because that felt so good, didn't it? So we're 12 to 18 inches from the chair, belly pit's pulling in, feet are nice and firm on our sticky mats. And on our inhale, we're gonna reach up, make it feel good in the body. On our exhale, come down, hinging at the hips. Nice bow or swan dive. Palms nice and firm on the seat of the chair. Shoulders glide right over the wrists, elbows are nice and straight. Go ahead and step it back in a plank pose. The hips are dropping a little bit just so that they can be in line with the heels pressing down and the crown reaching up. Shoulders away from the ears, that'll make you actually more strong. Strong in the arms here, breathe. The belly should be nice and toned. So good for osteoporosis as it helps increase bone density. Take another breath here, or two. Inhale. Exhale. Step it in a little bit so the heels are down flat. Extend the hips back. Walk the fingers forward. And the head drops. And again, if you have the range, you could straighten knees. But the most important thing is you take another couple breaths as you just feel that nice extension in the back. Good. We're going to come into Warrior One next. So let's go ahead and come forward slightly. Right foot steps forward, knee bends so the knee kind of touches the seat of the chair. That's going to be our stabilizing point.
The back foot could kind of walk back a little further, but you want to make sure to drop that heel down so the back foot is catty-cornered. So the back foot is kind of like open at 10 o'clock, while the front foot stays nice and firm at 12 o'clock. This might be enough. You're holding on with fingertips to the edge of the chair, but ideally the shoulders come back over the hips, the hands come to the hips. That knee is the only point other than the feet stabilizing you. So another thing you can do to feel more stability is to kind of imagine like you're stretching your mat apart with your feet. Feel very engaged there. If you'd like to go further, option 3, reach all 10 fingers up here for warrior 1. Breathe, inhale. Very active and bright in your 4 points of extremities. Your hands, your feet. Good, inhale. Good, one more, exhale, and then open it up to warrior 2. Now you want the left toe to open up to your 9 o'clock. So your feet are more perpendicular for this one. Your belly and your chest also open to your 9 o'clock. Your right knee stays right where it is. Hips are right under the shoulders, and the arms open up like a horizon if we're feeling balanced enough for this move. Hands reach apart from each other. Exhale, gaze sets forward, shoulders are away from the ears. I see a lot of students doing this sometimes. Relax those shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, a lot of strong chi, strong prana here, right? It's a very bright, empowering pose, warrior 2. One more, inhale. Exhale, flip the front palm, drop the back arm to the back thigh, reach the front hand highward, and then go ahead and windmill down to your chair and take a little pause in your downward facing dog. Feel that nice extension back. Feel that nice release for a breath or 2. When you're ready, go ahead and step your left foot forward. Knee touches the edge of the chair. Right foot maybe walks back and the heel drops to your left, so the right toes are catty-cornered, open to your 2 o'clock now. And the front knee is kind of bending right forward at your 12 o'clock, as are your toes. Same thing, shoulders over the hips, crown is tall, maybe all 10 fingers up. Exhale, shoulders drop in their sockets, feet tearing the mat apart for 3. Good, 2. Last one, and open it up to warrior 2. My right toes are opening to my 3 o'clock. Belly button and chest are facing 3 o'clock. Arms like a horizon, gaze settled forward. Shoulders away from the ears. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Left hand high, right hand to the back thigh, and then windmill and release in your downward facing dog. Taking a nice break there for a couple breaths. We're gonna come into ragdoll from here. So separate the feet a little more, bend the knees, and grab opposite elbows with the head hanging. If it's not okay for you to have your head lower than your heart for so long, you can just reverse swan dive up to standing. But for some of us, this is gonna feel really good. So I'm rocking my torso like a pendulum in a grandfather clock, and I'm just releasing tension and tightness in the back. Good, the head is very loose, the neck is loose. Take a deep breath in. One more, inhale. All 10 fingers drop. Roll up a little bit, but then kind of use your upper back to lift in a reverse swan dive motion. And when you get past that point in the middle back, then the head drops again, spilling over. And this is again like zombie ragdoll. It should feel really good behind the neck, behind the shoulders, just to kind of loosen up everything there. Good. One more time, one more nice sweep in each direction, using all of gravity to open up your back. And the head comes back to center, and the head comes up last. Belly pit pulls in, feet root, all 10 fingers reach to finish this last sun salutation. And on your exhale, hands in front of the heart. Good. For this next one, this is triangle pose. This is a really kind of one that I love. It's a really nice one for the hips. A little bit of setup. So you want to turn your chair so that the seat is facing on one side on the front of your mat, but the seat is facing in towards you. And then what you want to do is, once that's set up, is your feet kind of stand together so that the edge of your leg is touching the seat of the chair. See if you can see that. Good. And actually, you're probably good on the side there, Eli. I want to thank our cameraman, Eli, because he's been really helpful. It's been really amazing. Okay, we're going to bend the knees, fingertips touch the chair. The outer leg, the side that's not near the chair, is going to step way back. Heels in line with each other, knees are straight. Feet are perpendicular, right? They're like an L shape. So in other words, left foot at 9 o'clock, right foot at 12 o'clock. Now you don't want your hands way in front here. You want to draw it back so that your palm is flat on your chair and your shoulders right over your wrists. This is one of my favorites. I think it's a class favorite. The hand is on the hip. The belly button and the chest turn to your 9 o'clock as well, right? So the whole thing about triangle is it's like your torso and everything's being pressed like a flower in a book. Maybe your left hand reaches up, palm faces towards the front of the room. So in other words, you do that nice little shoulder spiral back. Inhale, the feet are ripping the mat apart. The hand is reaching up, and those are the 3 points of your triangle. So as your hand reaches up and the feet are ripping the mat apart, feel that nice stretch in the hip. Take another breath or two. If it hurts the neck to look up as I'm doing, you can always look down at your bottom foot or your bottom hand. Pushing the chair away with your palm. The shoulder is away from the ear. In other words, you're not slumped in like this, right? You're long in your body. Maybe the hand reaches past the head a little bit for a deeper stretch through that hip for another breath. And when you're ready to release, go ahead and take the hand to the hip, turn the shoulder down, bend the knee, and step. Inhale, all 10 fingers up. And exhale, hands in front of the heart. Good, and then we'll just do the other side. So we do have to spin the chair around to the other side for this side. So again, you want the chair towards the front of your mat. So I have my chair now on this side, front of the mat, and I am forward, and my feet are together, and the edge of my leg is touching the edge of the chair without having to bend over or anything. I'm nice and straight, right? And I kind of squat down so that my hand grabs the chair firmly. My outer leg, not the side with the chair, is stepping back. Heels in line with one another, feet perpendicular, so the right toes open up to 3 o'clock here. As you rip the mat apart with the knees nice and straight, the shoulder is right over the wrist. So draw the hand back until you find your comfortable point. Palm is flat, hand on the hip. Gaze maybe turns up if that's available. If the hand can reach up, the palm is facing the front. Shoulder nestled back in its socket. 3 points of your triangle are your hand blissfully reaching up and the feet tearing the mat apart. Beautiful stretch through the hip. For 3 more. Good. 2. 1 more. Full long breath, and maybe that right hand reaches past the head. And as the heel roots down and the fingers reach, feel that nice stretch in the hip even more. Good. When you're ready to come down, hand comes to the hip, turn the shoulder squared, step with control, and all 10 fingers reach up
And then exhale, hands in front of the heart. Great. So we're gonna come to laying down next. So feel free to take your time getting there. For those of my students who don't lay down on the ground, you could take a couple breaths seated for your Shavasana. Do a couple more cat-cows if that feels good. Any last stretches you'd like before we end. So you just want to make sure that you have your block or your makeshift blocked and your strap nearby. Now, most of my students can lay down flat on the mat without anything under their head or neck. But sometimes if the curvature of the head is very far forward and you have a deep issue with your cervical spine, it is required to have a little bit of padding under the neck or head, and that is fine. Feel free to get comfortable. When you're ready, come on down, laying flat, blocks and strap nearby. Your feet are wide apart, knees are touching like a little tent or a teepee, palms are facing up. Go ahead and take a few breaths here with the eyes closed. So as you inhale, imagine that the belly is filling like a balloon, then the chest, then the throat. Exhale, throat empties, chest falls, belly draws in. Inhale, fill. From the bottom up, good. Exhale, empty from the top down. Some people ask, does it have to be in and out through the nose? And the answer is yes, that is ideal and best. Of course, if you have, your sinuses are clogged and you can't breathe, do the best you can and breathe through your mouth if you have to. And the reason for that is that breathing through the mouth is a lot of fight or flight. Hormones get released, like hyperventilating, right? Where breathing through the nose results in a more calming effect for the whole body, more endorphins. Let's take the arms out, speaking of which, and do this really nice restorative movement. The feet are wide and the knees windshield wiper side to side. If the hips are limited, of course, don't go so deep. Make it feel good, and maybe the head revolves the opposite way that the knees are going. Massage into the fascia of the low back. Make it feel good for another breath or two. Good. Oh, so nice. Let's take a sigh. Inhale. One more. Inhale, blissful sigh. So nice. Okay, if this movement is available, head comes back to center. Hold on to both knees, and instead of just rocking side to side like this, do this instead. Pull the knees into the one shoulder and around and into the other shoulder. Make it feel like almost like you're drawing the letter U on the ceiling, right? And you're again massaging the fascia, but you're going a little higher, kind of getting more into the kidneys and getting behind the shoulder blades. This is such a nice movement to really open up the whole back. Good. And before we do some hamstring stretches, let's do a strong bridge. So again, I told you this class would be a little more challenging. The feet walk in, a little bit apart, and as the arms are down by our sides, we're going to scoop the tailbone under and slowly peel the hips away. We don't want to squeeze the glutes to lift up. If you have to do anything, instead, heels dig forward. And as the heels dig forward, maybe this is as far as you go, and this is fine, plenty. Maybe the chest lifts to chin. So as the heels move forward, the chest moves to chin back, right? Quads are nice and engaged. One breath is plenty here, but if you can hold it for 2 or 3, go for it. If the arms can interlace, pinkies down, go for it, but do not strain trying to attain that. Good. Roll down one vertebrae at a time when you're ready. Never should you feel like a pinching feeling in your vertebrae. If you do, it's probably a little bit too much for you. So inhale if you're feeling ready for it. Tailbone scoops up. Peel one vertebrae around, away from the ground at a time. Heels dig forward, chest moves to chin. Breathe here for 3. 2. And it's okay even if the hips are just a slight bit away from the ground. Don't get frustrated. This is a pretty challenging move. Good.
and release on your last exhale. Arms are wide, windshield wiper the knees side to side. Maybe the head goes in the opposite direction of the knees. So yours might have looked more like this, and that's fine. Work with where you're at. So one thing a lot of my students request is more pelvic floor strengthening. And of course, Kegels can only go so far, so you want strong core muscles, strong glutes, and strong adductors and quads, right? So this next one is really good for that. Hands make a pillow behind the head if there's already not a lot of padding there. The elbows relax down. If there's a rotator cuff issue and it doesn't feel so good, arms by your side is fine for this next one. Either way. One leg is up. The other foot stays anchored down, and as the heel presses in towards the ceiling, low back plugs down. Plug that low back down like a plug into a socket. Belly firm. Don't draw the elbows up though. Keep them relaxed. This is plenty for 3 breaths, or if you'd like to add a little more, lower the leg, and on your inhale, lift it back up. Do that 3 times. There is a way to make it a little harder, and I'm going to show you that as another option. Good. Those of you looking for more, both legs are up, feet are flexed, low back is plugging down, right leg lowers, but as you bring it back up, you're going to give a little hop of the hips. Again, the most important thing is as you're lowering, especially the low back is plugging into the ground like a socket. Do as many of these as you'd like. You can always pause the video and do 10 if 3 is too few. Right? And it's always important to kind of rest between reps, right? So take the feet wide, knees touching, let the palms face up. Take a deep breath in, fill the belly and the chest. So all those muscles in the low core that you just worked. Just kind of flushing out their lactic acid buildup. Do another one. Inhale. Good. Anytime you need a little windshield wipe, take it. And let's do the other side. So when you're ready, again, option 1. Pretty simple. Hands either behind the head or by your side. The low back is plugging down as the knees are bent. Just the left leg is up now. Foot is flexed, and we're lowering as the low back presses into the ground like a plug into a socket. Inhale up. Exhale, flex the foot, plug the low back, and lower. Good. Just a couple more of these. Good. Maybe that is plenty. Maybe we're graduating to a little harder, or we'll keep continuing with that. Now remember, the right leg stays still if you're going harder. Option 2. Only the left leg is working. And you know, the little hop up is optional too. That just gives you even more core power. Very good. Keep the core nice and strong. It really helps protect your low back, especially as we age. Good. Feet wide. Arms wide. Windshield wiper the knees. Make it feel so good. Take another breath or sigh. Okay. So one more thing we could do, and I know I'm pushing it a little bit, but this is also really good for pelvic floor and glutes, is we're on our side. We don't have to have our neck at this angle. We could take our block or our towel and place it kind of comfortably so the head stays in line with the spine. The top arm, hand is down on the ground. Everything is in line with each other. In other words, the head, shoulders, hips, and ankles, except for the knees. The knees are bent. Hand like a kickstand. Lift the leg up. When the leg is in the tallest position, you don't want the knee pointed to the sky, right? Not like a dog peeing on a fire hydrant. You want to kind of lift the leg evenly so the knee stays kind of forward. Good. And then pause and lower. Just a few of these. Pause and lower. And you'll really start to feel the glutes activate. This is so good for strengthening the glutes, pelvic floor muscles, low back, and hips. Good. Pause at the halfway point. Pause at the top. And pause halfway down. Pause all the way down. This is another option. This is option 2, and it's a little bit harder. You can also kind of piggyback these exercises. Good. Let's take a breath. You really feel that now. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. And the last one I wanted to show you is you're all the way up. You push your foot behind you like you're putting a footprint on the wall behind you. And then come back to center and pop it up. Good. And that's another option. A little bit harder. Okay. At any point you can stretch the leg and make little circles. I told you we'd be doing some more challenging things. So just to even out, I'm going to turn around. You guys don't have to do that, just so the camera is not to my back. You guys can just flip over. Everything in one line except the knees, right? Hand like a kickstand. Top foot flex. Knee stays bent as you pause and lower. Really simple to start. This is kind of like the foundational series here. Good. One more. Okay, next one. Pause halfway and then all the way. Pause halfway down and all the way down. Keep going, just a couple more. Again, you can do 3 or you could do as many as 10 before taking a little break. Don't do too much in one day because you'll really feel it the next day in the glutes for these, especially if you're not used to these. Good, let that rest. Take a breath, inhale, exhale, and then the last one we'll do is the one where we're in the tallest position, footprint on the wall behind us, come back to neutral, a little pop up. Footprint, neutral, pop. Couple more. Good. And release. Good. All right, we'll just do one more thing before Shavasana. So, class favorite. We're going to take the block. If you don't have a block, that folded up towel is fine. Feet are in hip-width distance apart, like a bridge pose. Peeling the hips up, slide that flat block right under the low back. It is between your waist and your tailbone. And that nice firm acupressure is lovely in the low back. Let the palms face up. Feet are kind of tented, or in other words, they're a little pigeon-toed. And then you're just letting go here of all that hard work we did here today. Big inhale, fill the belly, fill the chest. Exhale, feel blissful. 2, inhale. Last one. Good. This is really getting us ready for Shavasana. Lift the hips up, move the block out of the way, glide back down, and take a last nice restorative movement. If you'd like to stretch the hamstrings open with your strap here, you can before you end in Shavasana. A little yogi's choice. Any last thing you'd like to do before we come in. And of course it's a video, so you can always throw in some yogi's choice anywhere you'd like. Really? Good. Let your feet flop open. Let your palms face up for Shavasana. Close your eyes. Let's go through a little bit of some like Yoga Nidra type visualizations. Inhale. Focus on your toes and feet. As you exhale, feel your toes and feet as if they're surrendering into warm sand. Inhale. Belly fills, chest fills. Exhale, it's as if the legs are softening into warm, soft sand, and the sound of the ocean is the sound of the breath. Inhale. Exhale, feel your glutes, your low back, your low belly completely dissolve any last micro tension. Inhale. And as you exhale, feel your back, your shoulders dissolve any micro tension. Your arms are heavy. Hands and fingers sinking heavy down. In other words, you're letting go of all the tiny, tiny little bits of tension in the body. Notice your neck and just scan all the micro tension there. Take a deep breath in, flooding your neck with prana. And as you exhale, all the little muscles of the neck are completely relaxed. The head is heavy. The muscles around the jaw and eyes is so relaxed that the sinuses feel more open and the skin is soft. Take another breath or two, feeling good and letting go of any last micro tension anywhere in your body, especially if you have a place that you tend to hold tension. And also, it's a nice idea to focus on the lungs and internal organs. Flood a lot of prana into those healthy organs, picturing them healthy and vibrant and bright. And exhale, flush out any stagnant chi, any stagnant energy. 2 more big breaths. So good. Oh, so nice. You're starting to feel endorphins. Starting to feel some good oxytocin and serotonin. Stay here as long as you'd like. It's a video. You can always pause for a longer shavasana. When you're ready to unpause, you're just going to kind of wiggle fingers and toes, stretch low back, earthing down, and then exhale, roll over to one side. This is the yummy part, so don't skip it. Curling over, just kind of give yourself one last good snuggle. And then come up to seated for a final Oms, and I think I'll invite my children to come and do some final Oms with us. So this is my daughter Zoe and my daughter Martina, and so for our final Oms, they're going to join us. You can come into any comfortable seated position. It doesn't have to be cross-legged on your yoga mat like I'm doing. In fact, even seated on your chair to end is fine. Zoe and Momo do yoga with me sometimes, right? Yep. It's a great practice for all ages. So let's do our final Oms. Figured this would brighten your day. Inhale. For this last one, let's picture peace and health for everyone. Inhale. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your week.